Welcome to Salon Conversations. Today is really important if you've ever had failure, I guess, or been disappointed when you've shared your client with the team member and only to have the client not happy or perhaps lost altogether. So there's a couple of parts to this, and one of the things that I really love showing salon owners is that you got to measure your lost clients, because if you don't know why clients leave you, then you can't fix the hole. Like, clients leave for lots of reasons. Some of them even die to get away from your business. Very rude, but they do. Some people move away. Some people, like I'm not having a color anymore, but I used to be in the salon all the time. So the salons didn't do anything wrong. I just had an allergic reaction to the color. So I stopped. So my point is that clients are going to come and clients are going to go. And when you have your finger on the pulse as to why they come and why they go, it's so much easier. And at first, that can be really difficult, but for the most part, clients think that you don't care anymore. And that can come up in a few ways. It can be that in the beginning, you're on your best behavior and you tick all the boxes and you make sure you do it. And then sometimes we just get into the friend zone and we lose our professionalism, which is really disappointing. And I do appreciate that that is tricky, because we see our clients sometimes more than our own family. So it's pretty easy to not only listen to all the things that they're got going on in their life. That's one part of the challenge. But the other part is that you tell them everything. You ask anybody when you're out who does your hair or who does your skin or something, and they get talking, and you can set your clock. It's only minutes before they start to tell you the personal life of that hairdresser and that beauty therapist. They just do. Oh, her husband left her, and she's got this and she's got that. And you think, not once did you mention her skill set. Not once did you mention, you know, how consistent and on time she is and what a great leader is she. And I just think we're missing the point here. I think sometimes we've just got to have a good think about it. So think about how much of a part they play, as in your therapist, and how much a part do you play as their therapist, because we've got to not never forget, the reason they come to you is because you make them look and feel beautiful. So we have to make sure that we're meeting their needs. What I see happen in salons all the time is the salon owner, and particularly when they come to me, they realize that there's a lot of other things that they could be doing in their business. And so they want to work on their business. And then when they're working lots and lots of hours, it's really difficult. And lots of them have children as well. So you've got children. Some of you got a husband that's an adult, but he's a child. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, some of you do, right? Some of you have very demanding other siblings and, you know, a lot of other things going on in your life. So if you're not careful in the workspace, you can get really overwhelmed and busy. And so what we tend to do is we think, I just got to move some of these clients over, and then we almost like chuck them over. And you can't see me if you're listening to, but I'm chucking a client over my shoulder and then I'm ducking down and hoping that it lands okay. And that's not a good strategy. You got to laugh, really. One of the things that I noticed over the years is we'd say, oh, we're all booked out. Saturday, can't fit another person in. And then guess what? Susie shows up with a coffee and a magazine, and she's ready to sit in your salon for 2 hours, and you're thinking, mate, where's Susie going to fit? And she's due next week. And you think, fuck, what are we going to do? And you have a look in the book and you think, oh my God, she's not in next week. She's not in today. And we don't know where Susie should be, but Susie's very determined that she needs to be in your salon. So what do? You pull one out of your back passage there. I tidied that up, didn't I? You pull some rabbit out of a hat and you say, can you put this color on? And can you do this? And if you rinse it, I can do that. If you do that for you. And this teamwork just kicks in. It's amazing. It's really cool to watch. And then Susie leaves and you think you're doing the till at the end of the day and you think, wow, we had a good day, didn't we? And it's because you jammed in an extra Susie who gave you $300 or whatever it is. But the reason I'm telling you that is you actually have the ability to work as a team more than you ever realised. And quite often we only work as a team when the shite hits the fan. And I think that's a silly idea. Why don't we work as a team when it's not hitting anyone's fan? And the reason I say that is because there's so much value that comes out of working as a team. For starters, people don't feel like they're stuck and on their own and that no one will help. So I think that's pretty important. But we learn from each other when we work alongside each other. Like if you work in the corner and you don't tell anyone what you're doing, and beauty's way harder because let's be honest, you go in there and shut the door. I don't know how I would have ever coped with being a beauty salon owner because I wouldn't be able to get in there and interfere. Probably be a good thing. But I don't know about you, but I think you've got eyes in the back of your head when you're a salon owner. You're looking forward and you're looking out the side, and someone's talking to you, and you're nodding and you're answering, and you're giving advice to a woman on her entire life and whether or not she should leave that bloke. And the whole time you've got your eye on the girl who's rinsing that colour off too soon. You think, fuck, I gotta get over there. And you're going, yes, I'd leave him. He's an asshole. Right. So we're super talented. I'm not saying we're not. And maybe we shouldn't be giving people that advice, but let's be honest, we all can and we do when we feel it's necessary and they love it for us. But what I think we've got to do is we've got to think about sharing the load way before you get to the stage of, I don't know how I'm going to cope with this many clients who want me. And one of the things that happened to me in my salon business, and I'm a bit different to you because from my experience of the salon owner, they kind of don't want to put their hand up. They think, oh no, I'm not that broken yet. I can get more broken than this. No, I'm still paying my bills. I'm very successful. And I think, where do we get that low mark from? Where do we think that that's okay? And I never had that. And that's why I think I was more a business owner who had a salon rather than I was a hairdresser who had a salon. I think that's really different. And it came from my upbringing because my dad was such entrepreneurial. He was always thinking about how you make a buck out of that. It was like a game. He'd buy things secondhand on the trading post. I'm showing my age now, and then he'd resell it again. And he didn't even use the money. He just liked the game of business. And I'm the same. I love the game of business. I love looking after someone and teaching them that, you know what, if you get these new clients in and if we could rebook them and if they all bought a product and I think, oh, this is good. It's not even my money, it's your money. But I really get excited about that. And I also get really excited about teaching someone else this. And I did it in my salon. But what I struggled with was they would come in and want me. And it used to drive me mental. I'm thinking, well, this girl's really good. Like, why wouldn't you have her? I don't understand. But what I wasn't doing is showcasing that person. And I was the color and the content of the salon. And I have a big personality. I'm as cheeky as all get out. And people would come to me for the Lisa show, right? Like I used to say things, and I think about it now, and it probably wasn't appropriate, but people would come, and I particularly liked the really stiff bloke in a suit who was as boring as all get out, right? And they'd come in, and it was very cold where we lived, and they'd come in with their big jacket on, or they might not have been a suit. And I'd say to them, they said, do you want me to take my jacket off? And I'd say, yes. And for now, leave your pants on. And like that's probably very inappropriate. I don't know how old I was at the time, 30 or 40, and they just turn their head around and look at me like and stare at me, and then I'd smile and they'd smile. Now, you either like that or you don't. So clearly some of them didn't come back. But those that did loved the sense of fun and theatre about what I did. And really that's what we do. There's a haircut and there's another haircut and there's another haircut. And some of them worth $80 and some of them worth 150 and some of them worth 45. And I don't know if you boil down the actual haircut, whether there is a lot of difference in it, I suppose, but it's still a haircut. And to the blind, person who doesn't understand, it's just a haircut. But to you and me, you've watched people over the time who had this way of attracting clients or this way of having a really strong following. And when they're away sick, you try and put them in with someone else and they go, no, I'll wait till she comes back. And you think, well, that's very inconvenient for me as the salon owner. But people are really attracted to people, and that's what happens in our business. So I'm not saying we have to have lots of Lisa Conways in your business because that'd be just a nightmare. So don't do that, or lots of you. But I think we need to foster a sharing and a caring of that everybody belongs to everybody. And I think that's really important that you do. And when you do that, what happens is your clients have more options. They can come today and get me, or come tomorrow and get Sarah, and come Friday and have Susie. And when the blow wave or whatever it is you're giving them is It's not exactly the same because it never can be. But when it's so close to how they always get it, you are really gifting your client something else. And this is the thing that makes the salon in the street or the salon with some team very different to the single operator salon at home. Now, I don't have anything against the single operator salon at home, but what I want you to understand is you need to sell your point of difference. So if you are a single operator and you're going to come in and get Lisa Conway and nobody else, you need to be marketing that. But if you're a salon where you've got 5 girls or something, you need to be marketing that to say that whereas a lot of people here who can make you happy, and we have people who specialize in this and people who specialize in that. So they're both selling points, but they're really different. And I think if you don't know your selling point and what it is that we offer you, then I think we're missing the point. So for me in the salon, in my early days, I'm a person who puts my hand up and says, someone must know this. Who knows this? Who can help me with this stuff? And that's the difference, I think, between me and a lot of salon owners. I'm really disappointed in salon owners who are just too scared to commit to their own personal growth. And it frustrates me, I've got to tell you. But there isn't a person that I haven't looked after for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months that just says, why didn't I come earlier? I said, I know. Go and tell someone, please. Because I think the way we change the laborious task of standing on our feet and doing a lot of hours is we share and we help each other. And so when you don't come forward until you got one arm swinging down low and a leg that's limping, then that's harder for you and it takes longer to change. And you've got a lot of things you've got to undo. So when we share the load in our businesses, it means that you as a salon owner can just go, get a bit of fresh air into your lungs, love. And you can look after the people that you work with and you can look after your clients much better. But if you're doing 40 hours and the phone rings, or now they probably don't ring the phone, they come in and book online or text you or whatever, then if it's another person who wants you, you're almost like resentful that someone wants you. And I think then there's a piece missing. And the piece missing is you haven't either showcased that the team member are very capable, you're hogging the ball, as in you're too theatrical and you're all over the place and everyone else looks like a pale, half full of air person compared to you. So maybe you're hogging the limelight, don't know. It might be that you just think, I better do that. Like you just think, I'll do it because if she doesn't get it right, then she won't be happy and I'll lose it. So we can be working out of fear. But there are a couple of things that you can do that make it really easy. And one is the technical training, and the other one is the people skills training. And when you get the people skills, like, don't train people to say, take your jacket off and leave your pants on. It's probably not ideal. But what is it that that person has that's really lovely? Get your team to grow their own theatre, their own personality. I've had some people that have worked for me and they're the gentlest, quietest little mice and they just find their clients. It's just a magical thing to watch. And the thought of them being in my column would be horrific. I remember one lady said that her husband really loved the haircut. He said, oh, she talks that much. He said, you can't go back to her. He said, I don't know how you get on, but he said, I don't want to talk. I don't want to be spoken to in a haircut. Well, I should have seen that and perhaps he could have said it. And I just think, so he's happy to sacrifice not a good haircut because he doesn't want to talk to me. And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? So we're not wrong and we're not right. We just are. And I think when we become really aware of who we are and how we manage people and how we interact and, how much are we steady in our personality? Like I could have a hemorrhoid hanging out my rear end and I'd still say, if you ask me, how are you? And I'd say, yeah, I'm good. How are you? It's not true. But we have to act in this certain way. And I think some people would not do that. Some people would limp into the room. You think, oh, God, what's going to happen with her? She looks like she's going to die. And they show you they're going to die. They show up with no makeup on. That's generally the women, not the men. And they're just terrible to work with when they're sick. So this is all the special extra stuff that makes you wonderful. And I can bet you anything that you do this better than anyone in your team. And so when you look at that and get that confidence to grow in every one of your team members so that they shine a light on who they truly are, because we're all perfect as we are. We make mistakes and all of that. But if you just highlight beautifulness in the team that you work with, and you get them to work with you together, and we share and understand and do all that, then the next part's going to be really easy. But if you've got a salon where someone comes in and they don't look right, they don't look left, and they just stare at the person who's looking after them and they go, no, I'm waiting for Sarah. Like they're so nervous that you're going to give them somewhere else. I don't think that's a healthy culture, because if that person was to leave or become sick or something, you got a whole list of clients who don't trust or like anyone else. And that's a really dangerous place to be. And so when the language is, oh, it's my client. No, it's not your client. This client belongs to the salon and you're looking after her today. But when you can begin to split client services, so in other words, I might do the haircut and someone else does the color. Someone else takes the money or books the appointment. Someone else does a treatment at the basin. And once you start to split things up, then that client feels like they belong to three people. So then when you lose a person, the client still belongs to two people, because there's two or three people who really love and nurture and look after this client's needs. So it can happen in beauty and it can happen in hair, but it has to be conscious. And so what we have to do is start to spread the load. And it's a slow process, but if you follow the way that I do it, and I have a training on it works really well, and it works every time. So that's a lot more about you and the type of business that you're running, and whether or not you're a person who wants to get help, right? Some people go, nothing to see here. And I think, wow, there is something to see here. But, that's you, and I'm different. I just put my hand up for everything. I just get a coach for everything. When I've built houses, I've found an expert to help me design the garden. I don't want to plant a tree and pull it out in 10 years because it's too big or in the wrong spot. I just don't do that. I just work smart, and I've always done it. So, I love a personal trainer. I've had people help me with my food, specialist kinds of preventative doctors and all sorts. Of just what I do. I just can't understand why people don't get the help. So if it is something that you'd like to get help with, absolutely, it costs you nothing and we'll have a chat. End of story. And I'm not selling you anything, but I think that if we can't manage moving over our clients, you're going to stay stuck. 100% you're going to stay stuck. So that's a lot about you and the team members, and who's happy to do it and who's not. And you'd have team members go, I don't want to do her. She only wants you. There's those kind of people who need more help and nurturing, but there is a solution, and it's a little bit difficult to do it here without knowing everything about the way that your team members operate. I can do it in a heartbeat by looking at their health check, and I can work out what they do and how do they service clients. But the next part of handing over clients, so you've got some work to do around that. And everybody says hello. If I come into your salon, I don't want nobody to say hello to me. I want them all to say hello, love your pink jumper, your glasses are lovely. Like it needs to have an energy. And once you do that, that's kind of like step one. Step two is that you do things together. So you might be in a beauty room and you're doing a treatment, and another girl comes in and she helps you with the treatment. So once the person gets familiar with more than one person helping, then that's what happens. It's like in the doctor. I remember when I was giving birth to my first child, they came in and said, oh, we've got some student doctors here. Do you mind if they come in? I said, yes, get in, have a look. Up anywhere you want to look. I don't care. It was in that much pain and not high on drugs. I couldn't care where you looked. But they said, oh, thank you so much for letting them in. I'm thinking, no, I don't care. But a lot of people go, no, I've paid for a private hospital, and I don't want anyone looking up the other end. And I just think, oh, wow. Like I remember them thanking me, different ones saying, thank you so much. And I thought, how does anyone learn? Like I'm wired in a particular way, and so are you. And so there are things that I'm wired that don't help me, and there's things that the way I'm wired does help me, and you're the same. So we just got to look at our shortcomings perhaps and have a think about them, and then look at our strengths and have a think about those. So that's a lot about us starting the process of handing over and being like-minded in our business. And then the next part of it is your clients. You have to think about what kind of clients do you have. It's like some people I call homing pigeons, right? If you were to sell your business tomorrow, that person would just come back to the new owner in that location, and she'd let the next person do a waxing, do a lasering, do her eyebrows, whatever. They're just homing pigeons, right? There isn't as many homing pigeons as there are the other categories, I don't think. But the homing pigeons they're just familiar. And sometimes you have a business that's been there a very long time. They love to tell you how long they've been coming. So they're homing pigeons. And so I think they would just come back to that business. So if you don't look after them, another person in your business will look after them. And they go, yeah, that's okay. Can Sarah look after your hair or do your haircut next time? You go, yeah, okay. They just say, okay. They don't care, right? They really don't care. And then they just think, oh, they're the sort of people you can tell because they don't want to wait 10 minutes. They go, oh, she's not busy. Can she do it for me? Like it's just about getting it done. It's not necessarily a connection with the person. So that's one type. And then I'll go to the next type, which is the biggest proportion of your clients are attached to you. So they love you and they want you, right? And they're hand holders, right? They before they came to you, someone else was holding their hand and then they came to you. So they're a bit of they can be a bit scared or nervous, or they've been elsewhere before and they got shoved from this person to that person. So they've got a history around why they're not moving over to another person, right? And a lot of it's got nothing to do with you, right? So they are the hand holders, and that is the largest portion. So whether that's 80% of your team, of your client base, you might have 10% that are homing pigeons, 80% that are hand holders, and another 10% that, no, I was leaving anyway, I'm out. And we do still have a strategy for that as well. So you might have a client that you think, I've been coming for 25 years to you. And if you were to put her with someone else on your team, it's very likely that person says, no, actually, there's a salon near where I live and I just come here because but now that you're going, I'm happy for you to, get off the floor, do more hours. But if it's okay with you, I'm going to go to my sister-in-law or something, or a salon near me. So they are probably harder, to be honest, the hardest ones of all. However, you can have a strategy around that. And I often talk around, for my clients, I looked at them all and I thought, okay, so by the time I was ready to step off the floor, I was only doing really one task, and that was cutting. That was what I felt was the hardest to train. And it was the most unique and different to every single person. So if everybody was to cut your hair, you get 4 haircuts from 4 different people. So I knew it was a bit of a Lisa-ism that you do. So I kept that one. So by the time I'd handed over and was ready to retire, I had only haircuts. I'd handed over all the blow waves, all the treatments. I'd handed over all the colour. And because I was in the salon, I had one eye on what they were doing, and I was always there for consultation, or if things went a bit something, I was there. So I had my other 7 legs. I say you're a bit of an octopus. I had the other 7 legs on everyone else in the salon and one on me. And what's really interesting about that is I used to charge the most, and yet most of the time I wasn't even looking. I was cut the top off my finger, I don't know how many times, because I'd look it over, I think, what is she doing over there? And, all over the place. And so I think it probably wasn't very fair what I was doing. But anyway, you learn and you keep learning. So the hand holders, right, are the hardest. But if you look at the ones that are really difficult, and I think they do come just for you and the sparkle show of you, I gave haircuts for free to my top clients. I said, I really love you to try this girl, and I'm going to book you in with her next time, and I'll still be here. I promise you I'll still be here. And I will actually do a handover, but not only will I do a handover, your next haircut's on me. I just want you to try her because I know that there's a particular way that you like your hair done. I really want to know if you can navigate that with her, because I think you can, and it's on me. It's free. No, you don't have to do that. No, I do, because I want to look after you. And I know if I was to gift that one time and she was to stick to another team member, I'm free to get on with the things I want to do. So I thought, no, I want to do that. So I don't know how many of those, probably about 10. The others weren't as hard. I say, what about, and you kind of know your clients. And I said, well, what if you have a haircut with this girl and I'll be here and we'll work through it. And I said, because I can't keep going like I am. I really have to reduce my floor hours. And I have done that over the years, but now I'm really excited and I'm ready to hang up my scissors. And so you got the old bitch, occasional one, not many, but maybe 2. And I thought, yeah, I'm glad you're going. But most people are good people. They know you, they like you, they trust you, and they want you to succeed. But they're a little nervous about what their outcome is. And so if you can have compassion for that, and go slow, and don't push them through because you want to, or send them an email or some data blast. Please don't do that. Take your time and talk to them one at a time. And when they say, I don't know, I'm really nervous, and just drop it and go, it's okay, we'll do it next round. It's fine. Because some people come into you and they're not in a good space. So the last thing you want to be doing is pushing your personal agenda onto someone. So just drop it, just drop it. Like when I talk to people about discounts, I say that I want to be able to raise your price, but I don't need to do it now. But next time it's going to be this. I just wanted to give you ample warning, because there's some people that are financially stressed, and then there's other people who, if you told them it was 97 or 107 or 17 or 77, they wouldn't remember. So you do know your clients, right? You get sideswiped by the odd one, but I think that if you really are in tune with your clients, you know your clients, right? So then we've got the ones that we can gift something. And it doesn't have to be the service. It can be something else. I don't know. Could be a product, could be partial service, could be another service. So there's many things I can help you with there. But let's talk about the middle ones. Let's talk about the majority of your clients who've been entertained by the Lisa Conway show, or in your case, whatever show that is. So I think that it's just really a trust thing. And when you don't push them over because you're in, a world of pain because you've made a mistake in the book or something, and you've run out of time and you're running behind, and that lady was late, and I'm sorry, she just put your colour on. I think, well, hang on, that lady came on time. She's doing everything that she should be doing, and you're spinning your wheels because you can't manage your time, or you allowed someone who was late to still have their full service done, which goes bang, 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 and mucks up the rest of the day. Like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? I'd be telling the person who's late that there is she'll have to wait, or there's a portion of her treatment that she won't be able to do today, or I don't know. But we definitely educate people on how to treat us, and that's the truth, right? So what we've got to do is we need to also understand that there is a training for this. And so if we're handing over the thing that we're handing over, we need to mark it out of 10. So if you're a 10 out of 10 because you can do, let's say the haircut, you can do the haircut, the client's happy, you don't have hair up her nostrils and in your ear and down her bra top, and you've done a wonderful job, and you can do it in a timely manner and all of those things, then you get a 10 out of 10. But if you've got a team member who can do a lot of those things, but she just takes twice as long, that's not a 10. So you've got to decide how many points you take off. And the clearer you are as to what is missing, what number it is, so it's a 7, you get a 7 for that. And the reason you get a 7 is this. And then that clearly tells the person what it is that you're looking for and when you will raise it to that. The other part of the training is that you clearly define and also show her how she's going to learn. So if you say to someone, well, that took you 35 minutes and it's got to take you 20, that's not enough, because you haven't given her some insight into where you believe she's wasting time. So it might be that she fluffs around, doesn't get started, and she can't find her equipment, and she's running in and out of that room looking for things. Don't know. It might be that she goes around and around and around in circles when it comes to consultation. So it's a really good idea to time a service. So you might, the client comes at 2 p.m. and let's say the girl's doing a laser hair removal. What time does the first laser go beep? Because that can tell you something, right? So telling someone we need to be quicker, you just got to be quicker. It's not enough information. So is it in the beginning? So then there's that, and then there's the checking. Some people have a perfectionist problem, which is really problematic, because they check and check and check and check and check and check and check, and then they check and then they go back and they check. And I think there's a waste of time. I see that done in haircuts. They check and check and check. I think, mate, what are you looking for? Right? If you follow a system and you have a way to check it, and you can just check it, you're done. Like, it's the overdoing and the overcombing, and the longer people have the scissors in their hand, the shorter their hair gets, and that's not necessary. But quite often it looks great, and then they check it and check it and check it, and then they find another bit that's not right, and they check it and they check it. And so that's just a couple of examples of where people can take too long, and then they'll never get that 10, because you can't give that to somebody who is making those kinds of errors. It's just that's not that's not it's not a good swap. Why would you have me who doesn't overcheck, me who can listen to a client and hear what they say, hear what they don't say, and then turn it around? So you're telling me that today we want to be leaving it long, or you're telling me that you don't mind so much about this, but what you don't want is go darker, right? So you've got to be able to take that information, turn it around into the shortest sentence you possibly can and deliver it back to them. And they go, yeah, that's it, right? It's like ordering in a restaurant and you say, I'll have two of these, three of those, whatever. And the good waiters just say, let me repeat my order, your order back to you. And you listen and you go, yep, that's it, right? And that's a little bit what we do. So there's three parts to a client, and servicing a client that you probably do without even knowing you do. I didn't know until I started training my first team members. And I thought, wow, I don't know what I do. Like, why does it take me 18 minutes and why does it take you 30? And it wasn't until I started to unpack, because my first coach, once again, get the help, he said, you've got to break it down. Where do you think that why are they slow? And I said, I don't know. They just seem to be fluffing about. He goes, well, fluffing about's not enough information. I thought, oh, okay. So if you're a very quick and efficient person and you can listen to them and you grab the information, you turn around, they go, yeah, that's what I want. And then you give them to somebody who maybe can technically do the haircut, but they're going, well, you could. And I don't know, maybe, what do you think? And I think, oh, all you've done is murdered that client with confusion. So you have to get to the core of what your superpower is and why they want you. And then you can have, and you welcome to the training, you can have, this is how you break it down. And when you show someone what it is, then you can see it and you go, oh, that makes sense. Wow. You know, you watch, I know myself when I've had people, when I was having hair laser removal, some of them are just, they're going deep, 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 and others go bang, bang with the laser, you know, and you think, wow, like they're just different methods. And some sort of like they're jumping all over your leg like a frog, and other people have a system where they go and it's really clearly marked and they don't want to be talking to you, they're working. And there's others waving it around like it's a gun. You think I'm going to get shot in a minute. So there's a lot more to why people don't want you to hand them over. And when you unpack that, it's exciting. It's really exciting. And nothing filled my heart more with joy than someone saying, she blow waves like you. Oh my God. She's a mini you. She's just so good. You know, and they used to say that with my coaches too, not all of them, just saying. But they'd say, I just had a session with such and such, and you've trained them well. I could hear you in their voice. And I think that's what you do. But that comes from hanging around with people, being energized and knowing that you are a true teacher, and that and because you're all the true teachers, so don't tell me you're not. You all teach, you can all teach, and that you just care about your clients. And when you take the focus off, oh, I've got to get rid of some of these clients because I'm dying, rather than my clients deserve to have three or four options when they come in, you know, it's really important. And that's a really healthy way to look at your business. And so when you think about that and you think, okay, let's just look at my clients, don't go printing out 600 names, just print out today and tomorrow. And you think, right, who have I got in today and tomorrow? And are they a homing pigeon, do you think? Or are they really connected to you and the way that you do what? Is it the theatre that you do, or is it the skill set? Is it because you're quick? Is it because, I don't know? And then the last part is, you know, those ones that are just going to leave, you know, and when they do leave, you get to replace them with another full playing client, maybe even at a higher price. That's fine. I'll just end with this story. I had one girl, Judy, and she came to me when I was in Melbourne, and she was there for years. I don't know. I remember her giving me a present when I had my children, and something when I got married. So obviously a very long time. She's just a lovely lady. She was very bit boring. She wasn't much fun. But she was just so consistent, you know, short hair, as many white hairs as you could possibly have. So she was a regular. She liked the haircut in a particular way. And that's it. It was just did it repeat. I don't think I changed it the whole time she was there because she liked it that way. I think we might have gone a little bit lighter at one point. Um, and when I told Judy, she could see that I'd grown. So she'd seen me from being an employee to having my own business on my own, and then getting a couple of team members and a few more team members, and then reducing just to cut. And she was happy with the color, but she wanted me to do the cut. And when I said to her, this is what I'm going to do, and she said, nah, I'm out. She didn't live too far away, but she said, you know what? I don't know how old she was. She's probably 75. And she said, no, look, it's I'd be really happy to try somewhere else. I never would leave because you're here and I love seeing you and I've watched you for 15 years, but it's okay. It's okay, Lise. And then I went back to my coach. I said, oh, I offered it the full for free, for the cut and the blow away for free. And he said, why don't you offer the colour? And I thought, oh, that's all right. So it was a $300 gift. And because I had her address, I posted it to her and she wrote back and she said, oh, I love you. You're so persistent and that's why you're so successful in your business. You never let up. But this is not about you, Lise. This is about me. And I wish you all the best. But I'm really happy. And the time is now. And I could let it go. So can you please everyone? No. But there wasn't too many that if you just slow down and you do it properly, it'll just change your life, I promise you. And then you're needed in your business, but you're not too much, I don't know how to say it. You're not the whole wheel and all of the cogs and everything. You're just a big part of it. But your job is to make sure that everybody's happy. Isn't that everybody knows what their responsibility is, that they're happy to be spoken to when they're good and happy to be spoken to when they're not, and they can share and be open, and it's not my client, the client belongs to us. And at any point when one girl's finished and another girl's still working, just pick up a blowover and you work on it together, or just do two things, just offer to help. And when you work in a team like that, it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So that's my podcast for today. I hope that was insightful. It's a big job. Don't get me wrong. Most of us start it without any training or practice and it doesn't work. And then you're running around picking up the pieces and then you've got more belief that it's never going to work, that they only want you and you can't find people like today and blah, blah, blah. And I just think, no, all lies. You can, but it starts with you. I say to people this once a week, no one's coming to get you. No one's coming to save you and no one's coming to save me. Our life is very determined on our own decisions and our own thoughts, and that's the good news. Could you imagine someone else running your life? Oh, I don't. So just be wonderful as you are and think about, where have I mucked up? Where did I hand over a client when I hadn't done the maths, or when I hadn't done the thinking, and when I haven't done that? And that's what I call dumb tax. Do it properly once and learn the skill. Just do it on a couple. You don't have to hand them all over. Just do it on a couple. Find one that's really difficult. Find one that you think will be easy as all hell, a homing pigeon, and find one that you're pretty certain they won't move. Practice. You're welcome. Have a good day. See you in the next one. Bye for now. I hope you enjoyed that conversation and had a laugh along the way. If you want some more information on what was just discussed, or even just to connect with me, just check out the links in the show notes. Also, it would mean the world to me if you would like and share this podcast so that we can continue to grow together. I'll see you all next week.